I was thinking about what to share this evening, and I was thinking about a funny phenomena that sometimes happens in my life because sometimes when I meet people that maybe I'm getting to know them for the first time, and I say that I meditate, and they say, "Oh, how long do you meditate for?" And I say, "Oh, I meditate for an hour." And they go, "Oh my God." And they say, "How long have you been meditating?" And I say, "Yeah, for years." And they go, "Oh, years, every day." And I'm like, "Yeah, like, why is that so shocking?" And I think if I said the same thing, if I said, "Oh, I sing every day, I've sang every day for years," somebody would be like, "Oh, that's so nice. That's so lovely." But when it comes to meditation, we have this like quite strong and in some ways like surprising reaction. And I think that really demonstrates that so frequently our perspective of meditation is that it's hard, is that it's unpleasant. That's like a really funny part of it. And that it's almost not a nice thing to do. And yet at the same time, so many people I meet then say, "Oh, I wish I meditated. Oh, it'd be really good if I meditated." So I feel like there's this quite funny discrepancy between the reality that meditation can be a genuinely delightful practice, that you can sit to meditate not because you should or not because you have to, or that you read it in the magazine and they said it would be the right thing for you to do, or you could be less stressed or whatever it is. So that this idea that rather than meditation being a chore or something on the to-do list or something that's meant to fix something as if we're broken, it's this idea instead that meditation can be this very, very like enjoyable and pleasurable activity that isn't just nice because you do it, but is also nice, like added nice, because it has such a profound ripple effect across life, across our mood, across our sleep, across our well-being. And in all other places, because very often when I meet people that meditate a lot, they're very much comfortable to be themselves. I don't know how that magically happens. There's lots and lots of stuff around meditation and looking in at the brain and using neuroimaging to see how the brain activates, like what is it that's in most use. And when you look at people that meditate more, different areas of their brain light up for different things, and they tend to do a lot less overthinking and a lot more just naturally being present, but not because they're trying to make themselves do that, just because that's what's arising. So it's kind of cool. It's like we could have a practice that makes us feel good in that very moment and then makes us continue to feel good as we practice it and as we just go through our day to day. So it made me think, why is it that when I say to people I meditate, they're like, "God, every day, like every day." And I think it's because at the very beginning, and when I say beginning, I mean like the first year, maybe longer sometimes, of our meditation journey, is that it can feel like we're fighting ourselves. It can feel like we're doing something, we're meant to be doing something, and we are doing it wrong. And therefore, we must tell ourselves off, because that's what we do in our culture, right? If you do it wrong, you tell yourself off, and then you'll do it right. And if we just tell ourselves off enough, and maybe in the right way, and with a stern enough voice, or whatever it is, then we might just do it right. And unfortunately, that is precisely the opposite way that we actually learn to meditate and it be an enjoyable experience. We can, to some degree, force ourselves to concentrate a bit harder, but actually, that's not what meditation's for anyway. It's not actually about concentrating, it's about relaxing deeply into the present moment so that our body and mind can experience life as it is right now with all the small and beautiful delights that are in it, including just like breathing. When you really tap into just sitting and breathing, it's like, "This is great. How do I have time to do other things? This is delightful." So that's the kind of like seed of our practice this evening. It's this way of being able to choose a meditation object to do with the breath. So the thing that we will give our attention to. I'll guide us through all of it, but loosely to choose a place within your breath cycle that really feels comfortable for you. So for me, I often work with that at the nose, the sensations there. You might want to work with a feeling that you get in the chest or lower down or in the belly. You might even feel your breath in your shoulders. You might feel it in your throat. You can work with any place where you can have a physical sense of the breath. That's all that's required for this practice. And if for any reason a physical sense of the breath doesn't quite work well for you, you can almost imagine the lungs filling and softening. That can be a really nice way to do it. So we'll find as we go through the practice something that works well for you. It's useful for the practice to pick on something and not to spend the entire practice working out what the best thing is. This is just a short practice this evening, so pick something to work with. And if I can get the timings right, what we'll do is I'll guide how to bring this enjoyable nature into practice. I'll guide that in. We'll do a short practice of maybe just 7 or 8 minutes. And then we'll come back together and I'll just ask about what the experience was like. And then we'll go back in and do it again. And hopefully someone's brave enough to share something or ask a question that can shine some insight onto how it goes. Because very often when we get this instruction for the first time, it's hard to not go into the part of us that wants to tell herself off or whatever it is. And then we'll do the same practice again. I'll guide it in again, but a little bit less guidance. So we can have this second time at trying it. So the way this practice is going to go is that we're going to start by aligning ourselves with the space we're in, then feeling the physical body. So we're here in this physical present. Then we'll feel ourselves breathing as a whole dynamic part of the breath. And then we'll move to the place that you want to work with for this practice. And our intention is to do this. As the breath comes in, as our inhale happens, we want to kind of set an intention to be there for it. We want to experience what it actually feels like. We're not trying to make it do anything in particular. We don't need it to be like anything at all. We simply want to kind of be present for the inhale happening. And then when the exhale comes, we're going to use that exhale to invite the body to soften and ease and relax. And then as that softening, ease and relax is happening, we're going to set our intention again to show up for that next inhale. So it's this showing up, experiencing the inhale and relaxing, softening, easing. And then again, showing up for that next inhale, experiencing it just as it is. And then being there with that relaxing exhale. You could say inhale and exhale in your mind, if that's useful. Or you might say inhaling, because it's a process really. Exhaling to support you. And we're just trying to keep the breath as an anchor, not because the breath is special, but because the breath is moving. It's kind of interesting enough for us to use it as a connection to the present. So how does that sound? Your job is to enjoy breathing in, the marvel of the breath, and then to relax. And then enjoy another marvel of the breath and then relax again. Like that could be a good gig, right? That could be a nice thing to do for 10 minutes or so. What will very likely happen is that your mind will wander away and you might be enjoying an inhale and then get distracted by sound, and then that sound reminds you of something in the other room, and then the other room makes you think of something you did earlier that day. Or you might do what I did in a meditation the other day, and I was really with the breath, and then my imagination just kicked in, and it was very peculiar. There was just huge shoes walking. I don't know what was going on there, but my imagination presented for me some very strange visual phenomena. That's okay. It's all just part of our mind doing whatever it does. So whether it's thoughts, remembering, planning, imagining, whatever it is, the artful thing to do when we meditate is to enjoy that moment where we remember we were meditating. Smile because we've remembered. That's the wonderful thing. And then return to the breath, ready for that next breath. It's right there for us to either enjoy, the sensation of the inhale and enjoy the relaxation of the exhale. So the fact that we've wandered off, it's almost not important at all. The only bit that's important is this soft returning to the breath, the intention to be with the inhale and the intention to relax with the exhale. When we practice meditation, whatever we do during the practice is the thing that we are practicing. So if our mind wanders off and then we say, oh no, I'm meant to be meditating, I'm thinking again, bad me, we're actually just practicing giving ourselves a hard time. I know that sounds kind of crazy when you look at it that way, but that's what happens. You spend that meditation time practicing being hard on yourself. and telling yourself you're bad because you can't control your mind. Because one of the great insights of meditation is that we're not in control of our mind. We're not. It's kind of wonderful in that way because it means it's not ours. And what it does is therefore not our fault. All we can do is set an intention. And what the mind learns, often for some of the first times as we begin our meditation practice, what the mind learns is that it's allowed to stay in the present moment and experience the breath. And that's actually enough. It doesn't have to do anything else. So if we're hard on ourselves, all we practice is harshness. And if we have this mind wanders or imagining or whatever it is that happens, we have that moment of, oh yeah, I'm meditating. If that moment becomes enjoyable, if the remembering becomes part of the positive experience, then the mind starts to learn to remember. It's like giving a dog a treat, and then it's going to do it more. So we go, I remembered, great. Literally savor the remembering. It's a wonderful moment. Sometimes we rush back to the meditation object and it's like, no, savor the remembering and then come back and it's like, great, now I get to enjoy the next inhale or the next exhale, wherever I'm at. Because the next breath is just right there. That's why it's the perfect meditation object. You've never missed it. It's never too late. There's just another one coming for you to show up with. So rather than spend time practicing being nasty to ourselves or hard on ourselves, we smile, we come to the breath, and we marvel in it. The inhale comes, the exhale we soften. So that's going to be our practice. It can be useful in the practice to sit up a little straight if your body allows it, because it stops us going sleepy. If we need to have the support of something behind us or cushions, that's completely fine. That's completely fine. It just means that you might have a little bit more sleepiness coming, and giving yourself that positive feedback and really being interested in what does the breath actually feel like. It just energizes us a little bit more and keeps us awake in the meditation. Yeah. Okay. So find a comfortable seat. Just notice if you can make any tweaks to how you're sitting that could support you to feel ready to be in the present moment. It's a very funny thing that it's not really ready to meditate. It's just ready to be here, ready to enjoy breathing. So if it's nice for you, you can close your eyes, or you can just look down. And then just take a little moment just to be here. We've gathered together with these other lovely people. We're having this intention that we'd like to practice meditation, which is quite a beautiful thing. And we're sitting, laying just as we are. And we know our body's breathing. We know our physical body is here supported by the chair or the cushion. And it can be nice in this moment just to have a sense of the room you're in. Connected to the place and space around you. It's part of the present moment. We really want to be here, and that's exactly where you are right now. So maybe you have an imagined sense of the space around you, or it's a felt sense, but just have that knowing that you are exactly where you are. Maybe even sensing some of the space above your head, some of that kind of lightness and airiness, in contrast to that kind of support and holding from your connection with the seat or cushion. If it feels nice for you, you can let your spine lengthen by just dropping very slightly your tailbone down into the cushion of the seat and allowing from the top of your head, so we're not lifting the chin up, but allowing the top of the head to move toward the ceiling. So you get this kind of lengthening in the back of the body. Find the place where it's comfortable. It's not meant to strain or be tense. Sort of just allowing yourself to be more fully yourself in this moment. And then bring your attention, your ability to sense and feel and notice your physical body. Sometimes we can feel ourselves as like a whole being, head to toe, limbs and torso, head and toes. And sometimes it's interesting just for a moment, just to experience your left foot. You know it's there. You can sense it's there. And can be quite interesting to notice how we know it's there, which is a felt thing. Often hard to explain. And knowing that there's left foot, there's also right foot. Maybe it feels very similar or different in its own way. No right or wrong here, just simply noticing the physical body. And allowing your attention just to move through the limbs, the torso. If there's any places in your body that have discomfort, you can kind of skip over those. This can be a nice moment to just find the places that feel neutral or at ease. If you're not sure if you have a neutral place on the body, you can be often surprised that the crook of the elbow, or the back of the knee, or the back of the calves can be surprisingly calm places to notice. So we're here in a place, and we're here in the physical body. And the body is breathing. Not because you're making it do so, but because it is. Again, we're bringing that noticing, that ability to notice. Bring that ability to notice to noticing your own breathing. Maybe noting inhale when it arises. Maybe noticing exhale as it leaves. Set that intention to be there for the inhale. And set that intention to let the exhales soften you. You can use the next few exhales to bring a kind of lightness into the jaw. Often hold a lot of tension there. So in your next exhales, just in your way, just invite the jaw to soften. As if as the breath leaves, it can just carry out any of those small tensions with it. You might feel a felt difference, or maybe it's very subtle or barely noticeable at all. Intention's a very powerful thing. So be there for the inhale. Notice what it actually feels like. And let the exhale ease your shoulders. Each exhale a simple opportunity to let the body relax and rest a little bit more. And if you haven't already, you might want to choose a more specific place within the breath. You could stay with the whole sense of the breath, that's absolutely fine. And if it feels interesting to you, you might want to bring your attention to somewhere specific like the belly, or the chest, or the nose, or the throat. Somewhere you can really notice the breath as it comes and goes. And And when the inhale comes, almost as if you're a researcher of the present moment, a researcher of embodied experience, when that inhale comes, what does it actually feel like? And then let any tension go with the exhale. And then there, that next breath right there, ready for you to experience it. Sometimes when we start to notice the breath, we can bring in the worrying mind. It says, oh, is it deep enough, or is it long enough, or am I feeling the right things? And really, truly, there is no aim in that way. You're breathing, so it's working. And then your ability to notice that you're breathing is part of this process. So we're going to practice like this for just another 2 minutes or so. Interested in the inhale and the physical sensation of it. Warm or cool. Rising or spacious or movement. Whatever it is we notice, what do we physically sense, experience, and feel when that inhale comes? And then let that exhale really, really soften and ease. Let each exhale offer you the kind of thing that settling into a warm bath can bring. An exhale, not quite a sigh, but giving that sense of release. Your mind has wandered, practice that moment of noticing and feeling glad for the remembering. In a way, that's the biggest thing we're practicing as we start a meditation practice. That's the most important thing. And then discover that that next breath is right there for you, ready and waiting for you to experience it. Nothing to have to negotiate in your mind or really have to think about or work out. The breath's just right there. And then to close this short exploration of this practice, just allow any effort to fall away. So you are simply being and breathing. Sometimes in my practice, it's at this moment when I let all the effort go that I think I actually begin to meditate, because it's just a breath happening and I'm with it. Maybe that's the point all along. When you're ready, maybe letting your eyes softly open, maybe taking in a bit of the room you're in, just to adjust to the light. And I'd love to ask the question, which you can answer in your own being, and then I'll offer if there's anyone that wants to share. But to answer the question, what was your experience just like? You can answer it to yourself, even if you Not going to share on the mic, it doesn't matter. What was your experience just like? Okay, so let's practice again. Same meditation, but maybe bringing some of this inspiration in. What is it like to be able to let the inhale be there without having too tight a focus or a concentration or an effort? But just the fact that over these last few minutes while we've been talking here, your body's still been breathing, like it's all been happening just perfectly, you know? So rather than trying to intervene with the breath, it's almost like we become the experiencer in the same way that now if a bird sang outside your window and you just turned your attention to it more, it would probably become more clear, more vivid, maybe even feel louder, even though the bird itself isn't singing any louder. The bird isn't putting in more effort because you're listening to it. And that's the same quality we're looking for here. It's that it's almost as we're choosing to experience it more clearly, but nothing has to change. It's already just as clear as it needs to be. And then with that exhale, I think as Sally mentioned as well, one of the great things about this is that when we meditate, what the mind actually learns is that thinking creates tension. And when the mind really, really starts to get on board with that learning, it starts to think to itself, oh, maybe I should do a bit less thinking. So then there's no effort to try to quieten the mind. The mind starts to what they describe in traditional meditation. They describe unification of the mind, because what the mind starts to do is say, oh, actually, I want to be well and calm and at ease. So rather than thinking of this and thinking of this and stuff I thought I had to do, it starts to gather in all by itself because it's allowed to be with this flow of the breath, because it notices that we get so much from it and those tensions naturally release for themselves. So with those as little seeds, not forcing ourselves to relax, but welcoming relaxation. Not forcing ourselves to be tight on the inhale, but letting ourselves experience it. In your way, just find your meditation posture that's most supportive for you. If at any point you felt like dreaminess or tiredness was not useful, just see what it's like to really sit up quite straight, not rigid, not like, not tense, but sitting up straight, because it can help with awakeness. It's kind of why the next month's meditation is an hour earlier. I think that's quite useful. Yeah. So finding your meditation posture, letting the eyes close or soften down, however best suits you. And just take an inhale where you lift the shoulders up just a little and let that exhale soften them down, just so they're a bit more at ease than they were before. And then maybe do the same around the hips or around your muscles in your thighs. Just tighten them up with an inhale and then soften them with an exhale. Just notice what extra bit can release. Again, notice that you're in place right now, the room around you. Noticing that you're in body, physical, felt, real. Maybe noticing the texture of your clothing on your skin, the sense of pressure of the seat or the chair. Not looking for anything special, but just this sense of what is right now. And allow it to arise in your awareness that you're breathing. Don't look for the breath. You've been breathing all day. Your body knows how to do it. So set this little micro intention to notice something about the breath. Sometimes we think there's a really complex answer to this, but actually it's like, oh, there's movement. Oh, it feels cool in my nose. Oh, I feel a feeling in my throat. Like, that's enough. Or I feel my ribs move. Or I feel my belly move out and then in again. And in your way, just bring your attention to maybe one place in particular where you can notice sensation. If it feels useful for you to keep this wide lens of the whole breath, stay in that wide lens. If it feels useful or interesting to explore, find that more specific place, nose, throat, belly, chest, whatever works for you. And having that intention to simply be interested in the breath as a unique thing, each one. As softly and easily as possible. To allow the exhales to just be easy, no effort. Intention to experience the inhale. Intention to just let the exhale ease you. Maybe labeling inhale, exhale. Maybe taking a small smile when you get to experience the inhale followed by the exhale. Most of our day-to-day activities, our mind wanders so much we're not present for even more than 1 or 2 seconds. So to actually really experience the felt sense of the inhale and to allow a relaxing ease with the exhale, we've actually had a profound moment of presence just then, just like that. And then you're allowed another one, because that next breath is there, almost inviting you to be with it. So for the next 2 minutes or so, I'm not going to speak, and that's purely so you can have the experience of the mind wandering and then that glad return. And really allow yourself to experience the delight of returning to the breath with as much ease and softness as you can practice. This is a practice. Have that moment to practice the smile if your mind has wandered. That wonder of remembering. Return to the next inhale. Notice it. I felt noticing. And if with that exhale, when you relax and release, there's a noticing of tension, and that creates in any way its own tension, you can smile at that too. It's okay. We can't release tension by getting tense about it. We can't enjoy the breath by forcing ourselves. We can't make ourselves be present. We can just give ourselves embodied experiences just like this, of giving ourselves the kind of reward and affirmation of being present, that smile, that enjoying of the release of the breath, that genuine curiosity of what the inhale feels like. Notice if the jaw can relax with your exhale. Notice if the eyes can relax with your exhale. Notice if the shoulders can soften with that next exhale. And then again, let any effort, any trying, any shoulda, woulda, coulda, meant to be, just let that all go. A breathing being. And then take this moment to just appreciate inside the fact that you've meditated. There is no good or bad practice. One of my teachers says the only bad practice is the one you don't do. And maybe just if there was any moment, even if it was a few seconds that you enjoyed the practice, just let yourself remember that. Remember the qualities of what it's like to actually enjoy meditation practice. So that even the days and weeks to come, you think, oh, I couldn't meditate. It's more like an opportunity. Like saying, oh, I could have a cup of tea. Well, it could be nice. Why not? Because it brings so many gifts to our life. So in your way, in your time, your eyes return to the room you're in. Maybe take a stretch. Maybe take a little shoulder wiggle.